Welcome to the Brutal Game. As always, I'm Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And on tonight's episode of the Brutal Game, the race for the top spot once again changes as Liverpool are stunted by Man United, Arsenal blank Brighton, and Man City win down in South London against Palace. Then we'll, of course, go over all the rest of Premier League action and news from match week 32 in our 2-minute drill, because we got to talk about that Chelsea and Man U match, right? That's somewhere.
Don't even
right?
get me started.
Oh, my Lord. Then we're going to blow the halftime whistle as the blades of the barbecue and the skewer of the Sheffield steak. Ron shares with us all the news that's fit to drink, and yet another edition of Ron's beer news. Feels like special edition this go around. With a She Believes Cup update for the U.S. women, as we just kind of saw some of that wrap up. And then we'll quickly run through how a few of the big leagues across Europe are looking, as well as look at the quarterfinal matchups, which kicks off today in the Champions League.
Champions.
But first, our beer. I am up first. As I told the gentleman, I usually before the pod, I pull up all my information on the beer for a little behind the scenes features is what we all do. We got our little information or write-ups or interviews or reviews about the beer so that we can talk about them. And mine was kind of a pain, and I didn't expect it to be, or I would have started the research much earlier. But gentlemen, I am having the only Trappist beer in Austria, which is this is their Gregorius Trappisten beer by the Stift Engelsel.
You're doing good there.
Stift Engelsels. Engelsel? I don't know. There we go.
Proud of you.
It is an ale brewed with honey, much like a Trappist ale. When you look at its ingredients, delightfully simple. Ingredients are water, malted barley, honey, hops, yeast. Done. This bottle, well, hold on. I'll say a second. Gents brewed in 2016, this here bottle. So this is aged just a little bit. And it is a dark one. So I found a description on the BelgianBeerCompany.com because I was having a tough time tracking down information on their website they had here. Partially because of translation, but the other reason is, I'll get to that in a second. Beer description. Gregorius is a strong Austrian Trappist beer brewed by Stift Engelsel in the only Trappist monastery in Austria, and that was founded in 1293. Gregorius was the first Trappist beer that they brewed, and it is named after the first abbot. It is a dark quad with sediment in it. So, classic quad. So then I wanted to read a little bit about the brewery, and I went to the couldn't find anything on the website. I just saw the beers, and then if I went too deep, it was only in it wasn't in English, you know. So I guess Belgium's probably, I mean Austria, so it's, you know, it's in German. I couldn't tell what was going on. So I found the Engelsel Abbey in Germany, the last Trappist monastery in Austria. It is located near the Engelhartsel and Donau. Oh, man. Sorry, anybody from Germany. Anyway, it's in Upper Austria.
If they listen to this pod long enough, they've heard me butcher some names. So I don't think.
Well, here's where it got a little sad right before I got a call with you guys. In May of 2023, the community of Engelsel was suppressed, ordered to be closed by the order of Cistercian of the strict observance, which is like the group in the Catholic Church that oversees like the monks doing the abbey or doing the Trappist brewing. With only 4 monks left, it was determined that it was no longer able to maintain a Trappist life within the monastery. And then in the Wikipedia article, it goes on to the history of just in general of the abbey. So then I'm like, well, wait. So did it close? And I find an article in the Brussels Times that says Austrian Trappist Abbey closes, leading to uncertainty over brewery. But as you read it, it says it looks like it will be closing. The fate of the building, the church, and the production of beer and liquors is uncertain. They're looking for a suitable, preferably Catholic situation. But I could never find a thing that said it has closed officially, like by a news thing. Wikipedia says it was ordered to close, makes it sound like it. So then I went, well, let me just pull up the current list of Trappist beers, to which I pulled up. And of all of them, they all have their open date. And here's an interesting one. The St. Joseph's Abbey in Massachusetts, which was the only Trappist in America that we knew about, they closed, right? You guys knew that, right? They opened in 2013. They closed in 2022. And it says that. closed in 2022. Next to Stift Engelsels, it says opened in 2012 is when it was designated Trappist. No closing date. So I'm not sure what the deal is with this beer.
It opens at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
But maybe it's not Trappist anymore. Is that maybe the difference?
It's possible.
Because I could only found some things. Oh, looks going to close. Looks like it's going to close. Found a thing from an article from a brewery thing over in Canada that's like, yep, looks like it's closed. And I'm like, man, but I can't find a thing that says the article's all Austria's last Trappist brewery could close soon. And obviously this bottle is from 2016. So, and I did see an article in June 12th that said Austrian Abbey closed from the Brewers Journal Canada. It says it closes its doors. You'll see the last of its 4 monks staying at the Austrian Abbey, soon vacating the premises. So it does sound like it closed. Now, they used to partner when they first opened with a local brewery, and maybe that local brewery is still making beer under this, but it would not have the Trappist name on it anymore unless the monks were involved. So anyway, I end up going down a rabbit hole trying to just get the information about this quad. But again, it is the Stift Engelsels for Gregorius quad beer.
So the website is 9 days old and says opening hours are for April of 2024. Monday it's closed. Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., weather permitting.
Yeah, when I went to see what was going on at the actual site, I couldn't get, when I started digging toward the beer and was it still Trappist, I was getting not a lot of information. And what's interesting is when you search the brewery, basically everything that popped up was, hey, this thing's closing. We're losing a Trappist brewery.
That's interesting.
Right? Yeah. So it's very, but it, it's a Cistercian, how do you say that? Cistercian Trappist Abbey.
Yeah.
The one in Austria. Maybe it's still there. Maybe they saved it somehow.
I'm on the town's website, which is Stift Engelsel.
There you go. Maybe that's how, yeah.
And they're currently advertising the Abbey and all that and the brewery. They have brewery tours Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. by appointment only and in German only.
What's bonkers is every article I could find about it was all prior to the date of when it was supposed to close. As far as people visiting it, sorry, like anybody like visiting or seeing it, like travel blogs or whatever.
Sure.
But the Abbey's got like interesting history. Like it joined the order in 1295. Obviously during like the Reformation, it was not doing as well. And a bunch of Germans that were exiled in World War I set it up in 1925 and elevated it to the rank of Abbey in 31. In 39, it was confiscated by the Gestapo. Hey, look, the depressing potential news doesn't stop there. And the monastic community, which had 73 monks, was evacuated. 4 monks were interned at the Dachau concentration camp and were killed there, while the rest were imprisoned elsewhere or forcibly enrolled in the Wehrmacht. At the end of World War II, only a third of the previously resident monks were able to return to the Abbey. The place of the missing monks was taken by German Trappists expelled from the Abbey. That helped to keep it going. So a lot of crazy, tons of history, old place. I'm just not sure if you can get it anymore.
Well, we can reach out to them on Instagram because they have an Instagram and it's.
Does it still say Trappist?
Yeah, specifically it does.
Okay, well then maybe they were able to maintain. It's just weird. I've got all these articles on these brewery news saying, "Oh no, it's going to close," and no one's saying, "Hey, they made it work."
Yeah.
Like there's no follow-up whatsoever.
Interesting.
But I was able to find it on a dusty shelf all alone in a little bitty bottle store here.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
That's awesome.
7-year aged quad. That's going to be so good.
Brewed in July of 2016.
Heck yeah.
Oh, and it is a healthy 9.7 ABV.
Yes, it is.
Attaboy. I mean, ours is holy in a way too.
Excellent.
From the far, far place of Castleberry, Florida.
The monastery of Castleberry.
Listen, this is my monastery. It's my favorite brewery in town. Bowegan's comes the Priest and the Matador. And
I love it. It did stay holy.
Yes, it did. And I'm going to read you some verses because if you've ever been to the brewery, one of the reasons it's my favorite brewery is the owner's name's it's Bowen. It's somebody else to make Bowegan's. But anyways, they went to school at University of Central Florida about the same time that I did. So the early to mid 2000s. And during that time, I got a genre of my favorite music, which was this kind of emo punk type, stuff that involved, bands like Emery and Taking Back Sunday and Under Oath, Census Fail. And Census Fail is actually, I believe, the basis behind doing this beer, because they have a song on their Still Searching album, which was a fantastic album that they put out. This is probably 2006, somewhere in that range. But every time, sorry, real quick, let me back up. They play a Spotify station that always plays these songs in the band. So there's always this rockin', this emo type rock always kind of playing there. So I just always love sitting there and just with the beer. But anyways, this beer is I believe based off of that. And in the Census Fail song, I'm going to read you verse 2 to get us into the beer. A priest is rushing to my side, begins to read me my last rites. Father, you're too late. My faith is weak. So won't you save your half-hearted speech? In the chorus, I'm the arrow shot straight to hell from the bow of William Tell. My body lies kissing the ground like a cross turned upside down. And the name of the song is The Priest and the Matador.
Nice.
So
it's a little free for you.
Exactly. So it is a Vienna lager at 6%. And on their Facebook page, when it first got introduced, this beer is not from 2022, just so you know. That's when it was first released. This beer was from 2023. But anyways, it says, the Priest and the Matador Vienna lager, sometimes a classic is a classic for a reason. The crisp, dark lager has toasted notes from the use of Vienna and Munich malts, fermented with a lager yeast strain to accentuate more malty flavors while keeping a clean, balanced finish. 16 ounce of goodness coming at you.
I almost did a Vienna lager. That's funny. Yeah. I had both of them in my hand and was like, I'll go with this one tonight.
So shout out to Bowegan's Beer Company, my absolute favorite in the area. Great staff there. Jen, Tom, Miles, they're all great. Got a chance to work with a lot of them at Big Storm and such. And love some Census Fail, one of my favorite bands in college. So glad to be doing a beer from this brewery and based on a song that Census Fail did.
Shall we give it a crack?
Let's do this. Ooh, I love the look of a quad.
Good pour.
Oh, Ron, this smells like nightly spirits evenings.
Oh, look at all the sediment floating around in there.
Ooh, yeah, it is chunky at the bottom, man. You could absolutely cultivate some yeast for brewing out of this bad boy.
Got a yeast wash.
Ron, is yours?
Is mine?
Oh, man, some of that chunkiness definitely got in here.
Ferris filled his to the absolute top. The only thing holding it is the surface tension of the beer from spilling.
Oh, my goodness. I'm
not going to put this down fully. I'm going to keep it up right now.
It's a good Vienna lager. It's a little light on the head. That dissipated real quick. Hopefully this isn't too flat.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it has not, believe me, not from 2020, 2023, but I have had it in my fridge for a bit.
That's
Cheers.
Funny. I just had the same thought about mine. I was like, that head disappeared really quick.
Mm-hmm.
But yours makes sense. It's a quad. This is a lager.
Ooh. Oh, man.
It's good. A little flat.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You know those quads, Ron? They're like got that sweet Belgian candy flavor up front. and then like that bitter hits right on the back. It's a very dark beer, very dark quad.
Can you taste that alcohol?
Yeah. I can definitely taste the alcohol. I can't imagine what it would have tasted like at Fresh if that's mellowed out a little bit. I mean, it's not crazy. Don't get me wrong. It's not. It's like a glass of wine, alcohol. Like it's kind of the vibe I get out of it.
This is kind of true to the style. Kind of biscuity on a finish, crackery, if you will.
Get those nice malts.
Yeah. And I think the overwhelming issue on this one is that it's quite flat,
which is my fault. It's one that's been in my fridge for a while that I'm like, I just got to bring over to Ron's, and I never usually just come straight from work, so I never have the chance to do it. I just wanted to save it for it, but it
just pretend it's
been there a bit.
Just pretend it's like a pull draft.
Yeah,
there. I could see what it wants to be, and when it's carbonated a little better, I think it would effervesce better.
Yeah,
this is good.
It was good in the tap room, I'll say.
I hope you can actually get these. I don't wonder if you can get them in the States still. This Gregorius.
I'm going to look it up.
I couldn't get any in the States, and they were all out. That was what was leading to me going, oh, maybe it did close. But all right, gents. Well, we got the beer. Time to go on to the. Oh, do we have a ceremonial quote of Ray Hudson from you, Mr. Ron?
Boy, do we! And this is as we have in the past. Or I have in the past, I've always kind of had a theme for the Ray Hudson quote. And this one, I'm going to quote it as he said it, which is about a person, but I am going to mean it for a team. This man is like a T-Rex with hemorrhoids. And I'm going to say that is a cross between Manchester United and Chelsea.
Yes, that's fair.
Because some days they're walking like everything's fine, and other days their balloon knots are hurting.
Yes, indeed. And I will say, because I cheated a little bit, I see one that pertains to this beer. Braver than a matador in a pink tutu he was.
I think I've used that one.
I think you have too. But
oh, that's an excellent one. Well, I mean, that does. I guess that brings us into the Premier League conversation. We'll get to some of that. We'll get to some of that. That's in here, right? Yeah. We got a little.
The what?
No. Are we missing the Man United and Chelsea match?
Yes, because it was not match week 32 because we had a week in there and we didn't pod during the week or whatnot. So we had two matches. It'll come up in conversation though.
Sure. I mean, do we need to slap it in? I mean, I'm disappointed to not talk about it. Ferris face.
No, Ron showed me something on his screen about the content. That's
the
not
content got all screwed up.
That's not showing on mine, but
I have. It looks good. It looks good on my Google.
Yeah, you might have to give it a
Google done got immersed up. Well, then let's move on to Premier League. Monsieur Liverpool and Klopp are held to only a point at Old Trafford. Thank you, Red Devils, as they manage a 2-2 draw against Manchester United. Following the first half, where Liverpool led United 1-0 and also held United to 0 shots in the first 45, it was United's first shot of the match. And I mean, just up there probably for goal of the season.
Beauty.
Bruno Fernandes, who's near midfield strike coming off of Quanash coming off. Did I say that right? Kwanzaa. His errant pass that beat Keller off his line to make it 1-1. He was off his line, but it was like just the right amount. He still had to thread that, speaking for the distance that it had to travel, Then 17 minutes later, 18-year-old wonder kid Kobe Manu spun and netted an upper 90 curler from the top box to make it 2-1 to United. You sons of guns couldn't hold on. And in the 84th minute,
on another possible non-penalty as well.
Absolutely. Let's see. And then where was that? Oh, then Mo Salah nets home the second for Liverpool from a penalty spot to draw it even for Klopp and Liverpool. So 2-2 it ended, as did Klopp's time at Old Trafford with Liverpool, as does the time of Klopp at Old Trafford with Liverpool. Gosh, seeing that written out, it's crazy. Man, so many storylines. Where to begin? Do you want us to start at the end there with that penalty?
Yeah.
You know, when it first happened, I was like, Penn. You see it again, and you're like, what's his name? Not Connor Bradley. Who's the other one? Who am I thinking of? Who was the young kid for Liverpool? It's not Connor Bradley. It's the other kid.
Yes.
Oh, hell. It's going to kill me, so I apologize, everybody. Harvey Elliott. Ugh. Started to go down prior to the challenge. So, like, he started to expect it. Wan-Bissaka never made contact. Oh, there's a slight contact with the back trailing leg, but on that initial tackle that you would have thought would have been it, you watch it, he never makes contact. So I sat there and went, you know, I could see more so why they give it than the Chelsea ones that we'll probably get to, but I don't know. But it's one of those, and we were all sending some text today, which we'll get into a little bit later, but it's one of those where if it's called on the field, VAR probably is not going to overturn it. If it's not called on the field, VAR is probably not going to overturn it. So they're putting a lot of that onus on the refs to make that call. The call was made for a pen, and it was upheld. Salah, who was prone to miss a few pens, certainly did not miss on this occasion, and edited in for 2-2. And once again, for the third time in a week, United cannot hold on to a lead. You know, Ten Hag's absolutely right in saying, you know, we should have had 9 points this week. Instead, we go away with 2. You know, this one not as late as the other 2 games in terms of when they gave up the lead, but all in all, 2 very good goals by Man United, and they just couldn't hang on. But they were outplayed in this game by far. Once again, Liverpool, 80-some shots in 2 games, and yet they did not lose to Man United at all this season. 2 draws and United with a win and knocked them out of the FA Cup. It's a funny old game, man. It's a funny old game.
How Man United is kind of owned, well, not owned, but Drew, like you said, with Liverpool this season is so wild to me. How do you do that and then lose to Chelsea? Yeah, that's where the conversation comes up.
Don't.
Look, I'm sitting there looking at it like, oh my gosh. Like, I was working. So to keep flicking at the score and see what was happening, like every time I had a moment to check, I was like, what is going on? And then I was like, I don't know who should be more embarrassed at this point, Chelsea or Man United. I'm not sure. That was bonkers. And then you go and draw against Liverpool. I think that is funny.
This is the season for United, though. It's like, fire Ten Hag, fire Ten Hag. Oh, we got a result out of the game we didn't expect him to get a result out of. It is such a roller coaster season. Now, you know, a lot of teams have this in their back pocket, if you will, in terms of first things they say. You know, we've had a crap season. Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool to some extent. The injuries. And yes, injuries have played a part. This was their 27th back line of the season in the Premier League. We've only played 32 games. That means 27 times it's been a different back line from Man United.
Now, the crazy thing, it was the 33rd midfield for Chelsea, but that's just because they can just roll it.
That's true. But you know what's funny? I mean, we're kind of digressing off of Liverpool here, but essentially, Chelsea and Man United are having the exact same season. Right? We give up. Yeah. We come out kicking. We score a goal. We are number 3 and 4 respectively. Chelsea 3rd, Man United 4th for giving up goals late. And we can't hang on to squat. We're having the same season here in since January, essentially.
Yeah, and the game, I mean, the game,
oh my gosh.
Midweek was like watching, this is going to sound terrible, but watching like a bum fight. Like 2 guys that have no clue how to fight going at each other. That's a complete dumpster fire to watch. That was Chelsea and Man United. 2 teams that, what identity do they play? They give up goals, they give up leads, there's penalties, there's this, there's that, there's these weird ones, there's not weird ones. It's just a mess.
So there's 2 identities. Manchester United does have an identity. It's pure chaotic football.
It's absorb every shot, but not necessarily high percentage shots, and then just counter with pace. And they're good at that, but that just leaves everything in between.
And then,
but Ron, you only need to win one and Man United lose, and you guys are within 2 points of each other.
I know, right?
And we should have been. Ron, I was about to shoot him down on his having the same season, and then I went and looked at the table. I was like, "Oh God, no! Actually,
we are
like
somehow we're in 7th, and Chelsea are down there in 10th. Like it's 9th. Sorry,
it's the highest we've been all season.
Apologies, you're correct.
Thank you.
So this Saturday, your new matches are Man U at Bournemouth and Everton at Chelsea.
Bournemouth and Chelsea each win 3-0.
I was going to say these are both
matches. Sorry, I said
Everton.
Bournemouth and Everton each win 3-0 against Chelsea.
But they're
United.
both matches that you guys respected teams should beat. But they're both clubs
I don't think we should beat anybody this season or last season. Chelsea.
The expectation is for us to beat them, as you know.
Chelsea does not.
By Everton just getting dinged another 2 points, so they're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting mad. Chelsea adjust their style of play to whom it is they are playing. Right? We drew Arsenal. We drew Man City twice in a 1-1 and a 4-4. We are really good at playing hard teams and coming out with these great performances. And then we just suck for everyone else.
Sorry, you're talking about United or
exactly.
Chelsea here?
Right. At this moment, Chelsea. Right. But it's just, just finish the season and let's move on.
Exactly.
Right?
All right, going back to the game that was actually played on Sunday. I mean, will this play a pivotal point in Liverpool's season to possibly not win the title? Because they were first going into this, and now they're second on goal difference on the same amount of points.
A hefty goal difference too. It's 9 goals. Like it's a couple.
Who's got the harder schedule though?
Well, that's been debated, and then and as we talk, Man City and Arsenal here next, and we probably can just throw them all together. It seemingly as Arsenal has the hardest schedule going forward. I think
Man City's got the easiest, I would say.
Man City probably does have the easiest. Yeah, I would agree with that. We'll have to bring them both up, but if I'm not mistaken, Arsenal play Villa this week at the Emirates. They also have to go away to Tottenham, which is a big game. This is like going away to Liverpool. Yep. They have to go away to Man United, which sounds easy, but based on this going to Old Trafford's, not, and that's still like, I want to say a derby game, but a rivalry game, pretty big. Man
United chance to play spoil. Oh yeah, that's all bets are off in that game.
So there's a lot there. They also they go away they go away to Bayern midweek next week. We'll get into the home match today for them. They go away to Wolves, not necessarily easy, but they should win. Then Arsenal host Chelsea, again away to Tottenham, host Bournemouth, away to Man United, and then the last game of the season, which could be brutal, they host Everton.
So the only thing, this is going to sound weird. This is such a statement of someone who's been following Arsenal. The only thing that makes me happy about that lineup is there's no Sheffield or Luton in the last of that.
But you have
because
Everton.
All these are difficult enough that I feel like you're going in trying to stay sharp, because where I would get nervous if they had a couple of easy ones in the middle, be like, oh my God, don't F these up, I
also think Arsenal's schedule is such that if they do win the season, they have something to hang a hat on, right? It's not like, well, you had the easiest schedule and everybody else's was harder than you, right? Arsenal win this out and out. They had quite the road to win it.
Yeah. Real quick, since we just gave Arsenal's upcoming games, because there's essentially 8 games left for everybody. I think somebody might have a game in hand. But today, Man City went away to Madrid. So then they have Luton at home, so at the Emirates this Saturday. They then host Real Madrid in the Champions League. They then go away to Tottenham. And remember, City haven't won at Tottenham.
Nope.
In like 2 or 3 years or something like that, right?
Not only that, dude, City's record against the top 6 is not good.
Not good this season, correct. They then host Chelsea. That's in the FA Cup, though.
Yep.
They then host them. Then they go away to Brighton, away to Nottingham Forest. They host Wolves. And their last game of the season is against West Ham, because then they go to Fulham, and then they have a rescheduled West Ham game where they host West Ham. So, pretty difficult. I'd probably still rate Arsenal's tougher just on a couple of the away games they have to go to. You're going away to your Derby rivals in Tottenham, and going away to Man United, which is, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, those games were bloodbaths. All right, Liverpool probably has the easiest, actually, where they, Europa League, they host Atalanta. They then host Palace on the weekend, go away to Atalanta, go away to Fulham, go away to Everton in a Merseyside derby, kind of throw out everything there, right? Similar to Arsenal and Tottenham. Go away to West Ham, host Tottenham, and then they go away to Villa, host Wolves. So actually, I think, Ron, you're right. I think Man City probably have the easiest of the run-ins here in the last 8 games or so.
And Tottenham can play spoiler, but man, I'm just
Tottenham have to play all 3.
They do. They are interesting to me this year. I know they're sitting in 4th. I cannot tell if his system is for real. Like,
it could
I'm
be
so curious about what happens to Spurs next season.
Right, and that's exactly where I was going to go. It could be a Ten Hag effect, where he kind of shot above where they thought Ten Hag was going to reach last season. But this season, a lot of teams have figured him out. Yes, there's been injuries and that sort of thing, but a lot of teams have figured out that counter. And you get 1 or 2 goals in Man United, and they're done for. Because there's no way for them to generate so much going forward without that counter. It's almost like, is Postecoglou's, he played up in Scotland, but coming in, no Kane. The teams kind of go, okay, they don't have Kane. They have a new coach, and kind of just go off of it. And then they just blitzkrieg every teams. Will other clubs now go, okay, now we know what this Postecoglou is like. We know how he plays. So now will we formulate a game plan against that going into next season? Because he is kind of shooting above to where everybody thought Tottenham would be so far this year.
Yeah, I'll come down to the transfer window.
I agree. I love it, man. It's that time of year where Premier League vortex, even though it's going on, pulled us in hard.
Yeah,
I love that was so to be about Man United and Liverpool. But that's the thing is right now everything is so interlocked. The top 6, well, the top 3, and then the rest of the top 6 amongst each other, and the bottom 4, 5, everything is so tight right now. And unless people keep getting more sanctions put against them, then it'll be more, which I'm sure we'll get to that in a minute. Moving on, Man City 4, Crystal Palace 2, and Arsenal 3, Brighton 0. Although Palace scored first and inside of 3 minutes, it was ultimately Kevin De Bruyne's show as the 2 goals and 1 assist performance propelled City past Crystal Palace. And then later in the day, Arsenal keep rolling and move to the top of the table again as they zeroed out Brighton's score at the Amex behind a converted penalty by Saka. Another Havertz goal. Wow, does that money for Havertz now look like it made sense? And a Trossard late goal. Boy, that guy's good at doing those late, too. As he scores that against his former club, taps the badge as he was getting booed by his old club. 3 points, 3 goals, and first at the table on a goal difference, tied on points with Liverpool. How fun is this 3-way title race? I think what we were just talking about says why it's so fun. We haven't had, we've been asking for this for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we've come close a couple of times. It's unfortunately City just has a way of running away with things in the past.
Yeah, but usually they're only trying to fend off 1. They're fending off 2 this time, which we've talked about it, a lot this season. Real quick, I didn't see it, but is that what Trossard did? He tapped the badge at Amex for.
Yes, the when he came on, when he got substituted on, the fans there started booing him.
Sure.
So when he scored a goal, he just Tap.
I don't like that.
What? They were booing him.
Well, yeah,
awesome.
because if you remember how he left them last year,
Yeah,
for how he was in training and all of that. I mean, fans have every right. It's not like some, glorious person going back to the club. So I guess I get it from both sides of things, but like your antics at Brighton is what made them sell you to Arsenal. And I'm
lucky
the
for
argument
him.
that we had last year, the one that I got into Phil with at the Guinness Storehouse, a brewery there is, hey, listen, it's proven to be a very good signing. I still want to see it when things aren't going the way of winning every game and this, that, and the other. But so far, it's been a good signing. So has Havertz seemingly has done quite well in absence of, a Jesus. I know he played today, but he's been out a lot this year. And Ketia may get a game here or there, but Havertz has been quite well, and it's starting to come good. And he's a big game player. You forget he scored the only goal in Chelsea's last Champions League game. A few seasons back, so he can score these big goals, and he's on a bit of a streak right now.
So why is he working there, Ron? As a guy who watched him at Chelsea.
Why is he working where?
Why is he working at Arsenal?
Well, I mean, most of the time that he was at Chelsea was the downward spiral of Thomas Tuchel into, the confusion of new owners and, Graham Potter and all that. So most of his time there was upheaval, right? And I don't think anybody was really good at succeeding that. Lest I forget, Lampard was caretaker manager for a little bit there, right? And so they're changing styles all the time. If I recall, toward the end of that season, where they where Lampard is there, the midfield was changed, 5,000 times. They had never had the same attacking, kind of strategy.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on. And here, the way you guys have it set up, it's much more team oriented. It's not one person trying to carry the entire team. Everybody's looking out for each other. It's a completely different culture.
Yeah, and he's still playing that false 9 number role that he is. So there's consistency there. He's getting a run of games where he's not being dropped for one game and brought back to the other. He's starting pretty regularly. And to your point, Ryan, he's playing with a consistent lineup for the most part because there really haven't been any injuries at Arsenal this season. So he's usually getting Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, who I know has been spotty the past few weeks, but that's what you usually get. If not, you get a Trossard out there. So you're seeing the same host of characters, and then you get the midfield, behind you with an Odegaard feeding him the ball a lot. You also have the Rice and that. So yes, so to your point, Ronnie, he has that consistent. There's consistency all around. Consistent run of games, consistently who he's playing for, consistently being played at that.
There's
number
confidence
9, that false number 9 role
within everyone.
So there's that consistency certainly shows something. And listen, he's what 6'2", he's 6'3", he's like somewhere up there. So he's a kind of a big, false number 9 center attacking striking force, and he has I don't know what, I wouldn't say a foot for goal, a head for goal. He just has something for in the box, putting the ball in the back of the net. It's not a poacher.
Well, it's just wild because he came out of Chelsea at a time when they desperately needed a goal scorer, but like wasn't scoring the goals. It's funny. I just put in a thing for Kai Havertz to pull something up, and the articles that pop up. One, remembering the 60 million down the drain chant when they hired Havertz and thought, well, this will be the end of Arteta. And then
he did have a rocky start, right? But you figure the utter lack of confidence he had coming out of Chelsea with his game, and then trying to fit into a new system. It's going to take anybody time to kind of get the grip of the new system, and then start gaining confidence in all that. I mean, he scored the winner for Champions League for us, and had a couple of really clutch goals at times. So it was never terrible, but the team was just not set up for success for us.
I like the last article on the first page of Google when I went in for Kai Havertz, because the bottom one is a Tuchel from 2021 yelling, "He's not a false nine," as Tuchel knocks back bad tactical decisions. Just good discussions about Kai Havertz.
Listen, and maybe not in that system, or he wasn't thinking, but like, regardless of whatever you want to call it, he's up there and he's scoring goals. So call it a number 9, call it a number 8, call it whatever you want to call it. But he's still putting in those goals at big times, which is what he did at Chelsea. So he's kind of known for that. In those lull of games, where they're not big games and that sort of things, that's where he kind of disappears and has chance after chance and off the post and all of these things. But in these big games, when a goal is needed, he usually comes good.
Well, and Arsenal are kind of doing that thing that Man City used to do, or has done quite frequently, where they never had a true number 9, and they still won. Obviously league season after season after season, and so he kind of fits in that vibe. And obviously Arteta was a assistant to Pep in a lot of those years, so there's clearly some parallel to how he's setting that up. I'm glad he's in red, not city blue.
It'll be fun to watch.
Has been so far. Also nerve-wracking. Now let's get the rest of the match week as we do our 2-minute drills. We ask one question and or make a smart ass comment on each match in the 2-minute drill. I don't think I've ever read that out loud.
I remember I wrote that for, I think, when Tony was on. Because it's usually, sometimes it's not even a question. It's just a comment, right?
I just love it. No, I had to read that. All right, looks like I'm up first. So what a wild match at Villa Park as Brentford come from 2 down to go ahead 3-2, only for Ollie Watkins second on the day to make it a 3-3 in the Midlands. Can Villa hang on to a Champions League place in 5th?
Oh, it's going to be tough.
Well, and keep in mind we put 5th because England, I believe, has officially been awarded that 5th spot for Champions League based on the coefficient, which is almost like Tam, Gam, Sam, and Bam trying to figure that out. But
you don't think Man U will catch up?
Honestly? No.
Villa would have to lose out, I think, at this point.
Yeah, no. I mean, they could, right? Because Villa do have I believe they play City and Liverpool down the stretch. No, I believe Villa also plays everybody because they play Arsenal this week. They play. Did I say they played City? I think I said that they played City, and I believe they also play Liverpool.
They do. Both them and Tottenham have a rough end of the season for sure. The trick is, like, I think it's easier. I think that question shouldn't be that question, Ferris. I think that question should be, will they stay in 5th because Tottenham holds form? You know what I'm saying?
Because they're on the same points right now, and Tottenham just moved above them, which we'll talk here in a little bit, just on the goal difference. So they could swap back and forth. I think the question is, though, you have a Man United, a West Ham, who are how many points are we away?
11 back.
11 back, and then 12 back for West Ham. It's possible. There's 8 games. That takes 9 points. Swing, and then we're right back in it. That's only 3 games, and it's possible, but I don't think Man United is going to catch them. I would be very happy if they did, but is Villa's now getting into their Europa Conference League games, if I'm not mistaken, which is what United could play in next season. So they have those now to contend with. Plus, they play Liverpool and Arsenal in the last
Villa
few
just
games
needs to win. They just need to win the Europa League. There you go.
Although Everton get a big win and all 3 points on Saturday, it's likely they only got a draw. Why? Because on Monday, Everton have once again been handed a point deduction, this time only 2 points, though. So, real quick, 8 points total is what they've now been officially deducted. 10 the first time. They were able to get 2 of those back.
Nope,
No,
4
4
back.
of them back, and then 2 this time, which then brings them up to 8. Mess all over the place. Anyways,
there is an appeal.
there is an appeal, which currently has them 2 points, but 2 points from the relegation zone. So 8 points total this season. Will Everton survive?
So this goes back to our specialist in PR, PFFA, RASA, USCW, whatever,
TTW,
Ron Keller.
TSATs.
So 10 points appealed, dropped down to 6 points, then 2 points, and then 2. No. 3, now 2 points. What? They don't know what they're just making this up as they go along, right? Like that's what it feels like.
I don't.
Why 10 points the first time? If you know what, 6 was probably correct. And why 2 points this time? Because they didn't want to appeal.
There's a lot of things as to why. How can you punish Everton twice in one season, yet you can't even punish Man City once?
I get it. Stop talking about that. It's so different.
I get it. There's 115 charges, but you can't focus on like 2 of those charges and
No,
see if you can
you
hand them
can't.
something.
You can't. It's totally different. Stop comparing it.
But if you're Everton, they're going, what the hell? We've been hit up twice now. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, whatever.
Yeah.
Come on.
And again, why 2 points this time? Like, there's no rule for like, if you do it by this much, it's a 3-point deduction. If you blow it by this much, so it's just 10.
It's
then
almost
6.
like they wanted to go 4 and be like, wait, we just gave them 4 back. So let's split the difference and let's go 2.
Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it feels
Right?
like. It feels like when you see a referee, especially in basketball, do a makeup call.
Yes,
for a prior.
yes, Blake. I'm right there with
Like,
you.
we'll get this guy next because I probably shouldn't have called that a foul. Yes,
Yes,
that's what adds to what Ron is saying, or what Ferris is saying, though. Ron, like perception ends up being reality,
Right.
So
Let your perceptions only deal with Everton. Stop comparing it to anyone else because Everton's case is different than everyone else's.
Well,
and so
2
their
cases.
But why
Not
are their
one case,
penalties
2
so
cases.
different? Why 10 points and then 6 and now just 2 points?
At least they're all even numbers.
Nope. Where's my flag for the whistle? Nope. Because why wouldn't it be 4 points then?
It's not. It was not 4 points. If you read the commission, the independent commission is different in this one than the previous, right? So that
That makes it completely fair.
That
and
makes it
consistent.
sound like
Well,
they really have everything together.
well, it is more fair that way because you can't call the independent commission for favoritism or trying to down a club, right? So remember, the teams decided that this was the way this was going to be. It is not the Premier League enforcing some strange rule. So the Premier League teams voted that every time this happens, you get referred to a brand new independent commission.
I hope that independent commission goes to whatever Fox and Hound pub is somewhere near their local area, sits around, orders around a pint. How we doing here now? So Everton, we already bumped them up, or we bumped them down twice. Or so hold on.
It's not we, it's they.
Hey, I think we should let's be nicer on Everton this time. Come on, we're a little harsh with 10. Like we gave them 4 back, so maybe we only do 2 to them this time. Like, come on, let's order another round of pints and talk about it.
Yeah. Have you seen this saying about Man City? Shut up, Jeremy.
Hey, come on, listen. Bring the tempers down and let's have everybody focus on VAR, not us.
Hey, our bill has been paid for again by Mr. P. Diola. I'm not sure who that is.
It's
Thank you so
okay.
much.
That's all right. But poor Everton. Listen, at some point, we're going to have to really focus in on this Man City team up north. Like, what are we going to do?
It's getting confusing. Let's change the rules, but we'll do it next year. But we won't have gone to trial yet. It'll be fair.
I know, wait, we have to have the clubs vote on that, though, again. So how do we earn their votes?
That's our pitch for our new Netflix
We just
special.
we just gave them 4 minutes opposed to the 2, so we just did what they just did.
Yes.
Newcastle leave it late. And to Bruno Ramirez as his strike in the 81st edged them past Fulham at the Cottage. This leaves Newcastle in 8th and a point behind West Ham and 2 behind Man United. How do we feel about this?
I think Newcastle just there. It's probably going to end the season. I mean, good
Yeah.
team, ravished with just injuries as well. But I don't really see them moving too much the needle in either direction.
If they can stay at this spot, and I'm with you guys, which I think you kind of said last time we had Ferris. I think Eddie Howe is probably safe, but I do think Eddie Howe is one of the first people on the hot seat for next season.
Yeah, and I think with that said, I kind of reverse on that statement. Newcastle can fight still for a European spot, whether that's Europa League or Conference. So I believe it might just be Conference. I don't know if anybody can qualify for Europa based on that extra code. Anyways,
They have a bit of a tough schedule coming.
Sure, they
right
do.
out.
Yeah.
Tottenham, Man U, and who knows which Man U is going to show up.
Well,
or
and that's
if they're
postponed, so that's going to have to be rescheduled because
Right.
of the FA Cup that Man U's still in.
But then they go into Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Burnley, Brighton, and their last game is against Brentford, which is not going to be an easy game.
And Tottenham.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it can't be. Tottenham on May 22nd wouldn't. The end of the season is the.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. So
19th.
that must be a
So this has to be some
preseason
sort
game
of
or something.
preseason.
Yeah,
or-
gotcha.
It's going to be tough to be Newcastle.
I think so too. But it's beautiful to be Luton Town. Coming from behind to score 2 unanswered as striker Colton Morris netted home the winner in the 90th over the Cherries of Bournemouth. Come on, Luton, stay up.
And we get and we get a kid if they stay up.
Yep.
And they are at 25 points, tied with Nottingham Forest. Nottingham, who have been deducted 4 points to keep things consistent.
Hey, listen, that was 2 pubs ago. We decided on that, Blake.
That's what we did. We did 10, and then we said, all right, we'll do 6, and then we'll do 4, and the next one we'll do 2.
Yes, even
The next
numbers.
one
Get in.
will be 0. Yeah, they'll never figure it out. That is the Independent Commission Mafia special that we're going to put on Netflix.
Listen, Luton just have that fighting spirit. You know, it just
I think
never
they're
say
gonna fight.
die and just keep going.
On the last day, they'll be fighting for that spot.
Absolutely. For how many people thought that they would probably be in Sheffield United spot, right now, dead last, minus 52 goal difference on 16 points. I get it. Everton and Nottingham have had points deducted, but they're not that far off of even Brentford.
But
they're 4 points off of them, 5 off of Palace. Yeah. They're not that far off from a 6-pointer, if you will, and swinging that around and ending up somewhere in the 16th to 17th range.
This is where, though, jokes aside, they have to figure out how they want to do this PPR stuff, because imagine by goal differential and tied on points, Luton Town get relegated. Well, really, Nottingham should be 4 points ahead of them right now. Mm-hmm. It just puts such a mess on the season. And did they get theirs? Was it always 4? Did they appeal any? Was it like 6 in the draft?
I believe they appeal, but there hasn't been an outcome of that yet.
Correct. They are in the appeal process.
So that sucks too. They might not even matter. Right?
And remember, the deadline for that is 2 days after the season ends.
Right.
24th.
So Luton Town could like by a point. And then, yeah, God, they suck. They've got to get this figured out. Like,
blame the clubs. Blame the clubs.
Well, but I think, as we said in your special, that part of the problem was the money they threw out was from 10 years ago, or the idea of what.
So who didn't update it? The clubs. Right? All these pundits, it's so annoying to listen to all these pundits talk about, like, well, it's really gonna be terrible that the football may not be deciding how the season ends. You're right.
Yeah, it's really annoying for you to be talking to us about that. Come on, it was decided 10 years
So blame
ago.
the teams who breached the rules. It's not the Premier League's fault. Anyway. Moving on.
Luton's, we're not the only one, though, to come from behind from a goal as a goal directly from a corner kick. How often do you see that in the old professional ranks? Awesome. Yes, a corner kick, courtesy of none other than free kick master James Ward-Prowse, capped off a 2-1 comeback win for West Ham over Wolves. I would have preferred Wolves to win in this case, but nonetheless. But it posed an interesting question that I heard on a couple of various podcasts coming from England. Should JWP, James Ward-Prowse, be on the England Euro squad for just his free kicks alone?
If you could do it like the NFL and sub in only as a special teams guy.
Like, yeah. I think James Ward-Prowse is not only a great free taker, he's a very tidy, solid midfield player. Has been a really good signing for West Ham. That free kick, that dead ball specialist in the Euros can come in handy. Now, I don't remember the last time he's got an England call up, so odds are he's probably not when you're fighting with a Declan Rice, a Jude Bellingham, even a Kobe Mainu now, who had a wonderful debut for England. I don't know if he's going to get in over that, right? It's kind of the Ivan Toney thing, right? He's good, he can score, but is he better than, or is he going to get in with a Kane and Saka and some of those that might play up front in that way, and Oli Watkins, those that are kind of just on the cusp? I don't even know if James Ward-Prowse is really even on the cusp. He's there, he's a really good player, but is he going to have such an integral part that you're going to want to bring him to the Euros? I doubt it. I would love for him to get in, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there's too much all around talent to be called up first.
Now, if he wants to switch allegiances to come to the U.S.,
right?
A McKennie,
I'll take him.
A McKennie, Adams, James Ward-Prowse midfield. Hello.
Love it. My third beloved team in the Premier League, Sheffield United, fought for a big point at Bramall Lane as they draw 2-2 with that blue team from West London, Chelsea. The question here, gentlemen, is what the
I left it up to interpretation from Ron to ask whatever he wanted to ask.
WTF? Well, I mean, like you said, you have this crazy comeback against Man United, and then you draw to Sheffield. It's bizarre.
We
lose to Chelsea, we draw against Liverpool. You beat United, you draw against Sheffield.
Right.
Huh?
It's
just figuring out 10 points to 6 points to 4 points. It makes no sense.
That's literally all you needed to write after that headline.
Yeah. Just hit it right now. That's all we need to talk about.
That's fair.
That
That's
you
fair.
just said. Mickey Van de Ven's absolute dart in the 52nd minute limps Woods' equalizer in the 27th as Tottenham then go on to erect a 3-1 win over Nottingham Forest.
I got my Wood headlines in again.
Are you so proud to get your Wood headlines in? Spurs move up to fourth, tied on points with Villa as Forest moved 17th, one place above Luton for safety, but also tied on points. Tale of two ends.
You got a fight down at the bottom and a fight at the top.
That's
awesome.
the name of our Netflix special. A Tale of Two Ends.
It's a tale of two ends, and we sit at the pub and we talk about the two ends.
No, it's a tale of two ends and one man.
Oh, I love it. But we can't come off that way. We have to give them 0 points for all the 115 counts. Come
Put
on.
that on your sheet, Ron. Don't forget.
Sorry, I blacked out. What?
I said put that on your bleep sheet.
Yeah.
I said Man City the correct way, so you might want to bleep it out.
He said man.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my God.
With friends like you guys.
Our own financial fair play special and ambush Ron where they want we kind of talked about this a little bit, but I do think I still, if I was forced to bet money, I wouldn't bet money on this otherwise. I think I might pick Villa to scoot above Spurs because they still feel a little more consistent. Spurs have this ability to win big, but kind of flop when unnecessary. Villa won some, lost some, but more in a consistent fashion. I don't know. Does that make sense?
It's tight. Now, one thing to keep in mind here: Tottenham do have a game in hand. So Villa's played 32, Tottenham only 31. Now, so far, Tottenham 18, 6, and 7. So they won 18 times, drew 6, lost 7. They're on a plus 20 on 60 points. Villa 18, 6, and 8. Plus 17, 60 points. So they're really neck and neck. There's that one game in hand that may be the decider. If Tottenham win that game in hand, who knows? But again, both Tottenham play all 3 of the big clubs, right? So they can play spoiler to all 3. Villa play 2 of the 3 of the big clubs. So they're going to have both of those teams are going to have a hand in not only their own end of the season, where do we end up, but they're going to also have a hand in where possibly Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal all end up.
Boom. Well, I believe that gets us at the whistle to Ron's beer news.
Gentlemen, I have a little bit of fun to lift our spirits from the doldrums of what we've just discussed.
Hey, me and Blake had fun.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm happy for you. It's quite entertaining. But we're going to do a little bit of a game today.
Oh, no. This is why you can't see the screen, Ferris.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just going to pour myself into another one of these beers. Yes, that's a little flat, and that's because of me. Only because of me. Let me.
Why don't you hit me up?
Get you know another one too? I got you.
Hey, mine's a little flat, but it's okay because it's 10%.
That's fair enough.
All right, gentlemen. Do you know what April 7th was?
So
2 days ago?
Not April Fools.
that's the eclipse. That was yesterday.
Yeah, that was an eclipse.
National Beer Day was observed.
Oh, I was at Windermere Brewing that day. That's right.
So to celebrate, we're going to have a bit of a quiz contest.
Oh.
So you're each going to have 4 questions. If a given person, let's say it's Ferris's question, if he gets it wrong, Blake, you have a chance to steal.
Rebuttal.
Every right answer is a point, and we have tiebreakers should we need them.
Oh, man. Getting more complicated with our games.
Yeah.
Ferris is going to step up for what at the cup.
Yeah, right. I
All right, Ferris, you have the first question by the very fair deciding who's tallest. Ferris, your question,
Okay.
should you choose to accept it.
Sure.
Why is National Beer Day observed on April 7th?
So it's the first harvest of the hops.
Incorrect. So no point for Ferris.
Yeah, no
Blake,
kidding.
you can steal.
I'd like to steal, Ron. I think
Okay.
I got a good feeling about this.
Okay.
Is that the date of the Reingebot, the German purity law?
Not correct.
Oh, man. I really think that was it.
Nope. So no points anyway. The answer is April 7, 1933. The Cullen-Harrison Act effectively repealed prohibition for low alcohol beer and wine. The 21st Amendment for all alcohol was repealed on December of 1933 when the 21st Amendment was actually ratified. So National Beer Day celebrated for the effective repeal of prohibition. No points either way. Blake, you are up.
Hit me.
What president signed the Cullen-Harrison Act?
Oh, what year did you say it was?
You should have been paying attention.
We haven't gotten to FDR yet. Who's prior to FDR? Oh, that's like one of those gaps. Your brain kind of goes Washington, Lincoln, Woodrow Wilson goes to World War I. Then there's kind of a gap till you get to FDR.
George Bush, Bill
War
Clinton,
II.
Obama. Like that's pretty much how it goes.
Then you're moving up to like what, Nixon or JFK?
Oh,
right?
JFK, yeah,
Nixon.
he's in there somewhere.
There you
yeah.
go. Yeah. Gaps. I just like Andrew Garfield because not Andrew Garfield. That's the actor for President Garfield, just because his name's funny, but it's not him. He's too far back. God, it's whoever predates FDR. It's going to make me crazy. I'm just going to say Franklin Delano Roosevelt's wrong, but it's the one that's right after that. But
it is in fact correct.
I was going to guess that too. Yes.
Is it?
Yes, I was going to guess that. Yeah.
He runs for president on the basis of repealing prohibition and wins by a landslide.
Well, and you also forget that he was president for a long time because we didn't have the 2-term limit at the time.
Correct.
So
Because, yes, good. Well done, Blake.
he's 1933 to 1945.
Long time.
Although I got to find out who preceded him because like now I am.
No. I was so hoping it was Taft.
Okay, Ferris, your question. The score is currently Blake 1, Ferris 0. True or false? Homebrewing was federally prohibited until 1978. Is that true or false, Ferris?
True.
You get a point. That is
I tie it
true.
up. I do the Bruno. I tie it up.
It was Herbert Hoover. I should have remembered that.
Hoover.
Of course, he
Love his
wouldn't
vacuums.
he wouldn't have repealed that.
No.
That weird dude.
So, homebrewing HR 1337 was federally signed in 1978, lifting prohibition regulations, making it possible for hobbyists to legally brew beer and wine at home. Blake, your question. Which president signed HR 1337, lifting prohibition of home brewing?
That would be the peanut farmer, Mr. Jimmy Carter.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct.
Nice.
39th president.
Whose brother had beer made for him. I think we've
awesome.
talked about that in the pod, I feel like at some point.
Okay, Ferris. It's 2-1 to Blake currently.
Yeah.
What was the primary reason that prohibition was repealed?
Stupid.
Me? Or
He's not
No,
calling
no.
you stupid. He's saying the law was stupid.
Oh, I feel like as soon as you say it, I'm going to know it. The introduction of fentanyl to I don't know.
What?
Fentanyl.
I know. Is that correct? The poverty and they wanted more money. I don't know.
Poverty and they wanted more money.
Like during
question
an
again?
economic
I've now forgotten.
crisis. Sorry, let me rephrase this. But and during an economic crisis, they wanted to tax the sale of it to get more money.
I'll allow that answer to be correct.
Thank you.
A boost to the economy
Yes.
coming out of the Great Depression. The black market made roughly $3 billion per year in bathtub gin and other illicit hooch.
So not fentanyl.
Not fentanyl.
Okay, just making sure.
Close though.
I was totally kidding.
That
No,
would give
I
you
thought
the-
it had no. In all seriousness, I thought it had something to do with that because it was kind of like what gambling's going on right now. Like a lot of states are being okay to gamble, but they're like, "Got to work with us because we're gonna get our cut of the pie too here."
Right. So the idea was that because all of the illegal, alcohol that's being sold for roughly $3 billion is not being taxed and therefore not going into the various state governments and federal coffers. So in order to help themselves out of the Great Depression, one of the items was repeal prohibition.
So Ferris is saying it's always about money.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is.
Hey, I learned something today. That note that the Pledge of Allegiance was a gimmick to sell flags. Look it up.
Yeah.
Love it.
I believe that completely.
Look it up. It's on this.
Love
Like it's Smithsonian talks about it. I was like, what? Yeah. Anyway, I love it.
All right, Blake, you're up. It is tied at 2 apiece. During Prohibition, DG Yingling and Son refitted their brewery to produce one of the following: A, near
Not
beer.
That's good. People overrate it, but go ahead.
That's fair. That's a fair one, but not an answer. A, near beer, which was a beer containing 0.5% ABV. B, isopropyl alcohol for the medical
Isopropyl
industry. What?
It's go on. It's a stupid thing I say at work.
C, ice cream, or D, pottery and ceramics.
I want to say B, but I'm scared you're testing me because that makes sense. And I feel like it maybe is something that doesn't make sense. Ice cream and pottery is so stupid and weird that it makes me think it could be it. Or I would know that you would put a poison next to you. I feel like I'm in Princess Bride right now.
Right.
C.
C is correct.
Attaboy.
Ice cream.
Yes.
You are correct. Both Yingling and Anheuser-Busch refitted parts of their production lines to ice cream to survive Prohibition. Coors was the main brewery that switched to pottery and ceramics. No one was producing isopropyl alcohol. I made that up.
Isopropyl state is what we use. Anyway.
Yeah, that's for makeup.
Yeah. That's why I was saying it. I say it so fast that you can't really understand that. I probably understand it.
And near beer was done by a lot of breweries.
Ferris, you say that like I say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
All right, Ferris, you're up. You're down by 1 to Blake.
Yep.
What current U.S. sport owes its roots to Prohibition?
Oh. I know why Ron didn't give this one to me.
That actually just the luck of the way it was written.
U.S. sport?
Yep.
Can top 5 sport?
Nope. Oh, well, I mean, I have no idea where this actually ranks. I can tell you it is very popular.
I'm going to go baseball because like Babe Ruth and that whole thing. It has to be. Everybody loves to go.
Can I
Is that your
steal
answer?
That's my answer.
It is not correct. Blake,
Okay.
you have a chance to steal.
Oh, I know.
Rocket
is it
Top.
NASCAR?
It's NASCAR,
NASCAR,
baby.
yeah,
it
you're
is.
right. As soon as you're right because
Moonshiners in the Appalachian
yeah,
Mountains
that's correct. I knew that.
would transport their illicit hooch in the fastest cars they could to evade police blockades.
Damn it.
Ron? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you'd stop.
And then once Prohibition was repealed, everyone quite enjoyed driving their fast cars. There was a massive industry for it, and racing was born.
That's correct. Yeah.
Ron, I haven't had a chance to talk to you, but since I got back from visiting my family, but my grandpa, who served in the Korean War, one of the stories he told me was he was hit up to drive Shine.
Heck yeah.
When he got back in the 50s.
So I remember him telling us that, but kind of in passing. He didn't really go deep into it.
Yeah. I got a slightly more fleshed out story this go round.
Awesome. Okay. It is currently 4-2 in favor of Blake. Blake, here's your question. By bootlegging alone, Al Capone is reported to have made a lot of money. This is a multiple choice question. Per year, he made how much? A, 200,000 US, B, 20 million US, C, 60 million US, or D, 100 million US per year by bootlegging alone.
It's not going to be C again because you've already done a C. 40 and 60 are so close together. That's kind of tricky. 100 seems wildly crazy for the time period.
Keep in mind that the black market was 30 billion a year.
Yeah. That's what I say. It sounds high, but he's also considered the best criminal ever. Well, not best criminal, but like one of the most money making, like underworld. Ugh. I'm gonna go with 100 million. I'm gonna go high, Alex.
That is not correct. Ferris, would you like to steal?
Sure. Can you give me the options again?
Sure. By bootlegging alone, Al Capone is reported to have made a lot of money. Per year, he made A, 200,000 US, B, 20 million US, C, 60 million US, or D, 100 million US?
So it's 60 and 20 in there, right? I think in what, if you're talking money terms now compared to then, it is an estimated 20 million.
Incorrect. No points.
Is it 200,000?
It was 60 million US. So the current score is 2-4.
Oh, so it was what Everton got 6 points.
Yes.
And now there's the 2 points. Okay, gotcha.
All right. In order to make this interesting, Ferris, I'm going to ask you this question. If you get it right,
There we go.
it's 2 points, which ties you and Blake.
Okay.
And then we will have a tiebreaker question.
Okay.
So, Ferris,
Yep.
what was the first legally produced beer to be sold in the United States after Prohibition?
Mm-hmm.
This is a tough one.
My mind immediately goes to either Yingling or Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Got to push you for an answer.
I'll go with Pabst.
Incorrect. Blake, you want to steal it?
Go on.
For 2 points.
Give me that again. Or give
What
me the,
was the first legally produced beer to be sold in the U.S. after Prohibition? The key words here, legally produced.
Yeah. He said PBR, but I know that's not right.
I wish you had told me that.
I'm gonna go first legally produced beer. It's gonna be a big name. I don't think it's Yingling. I think it's gonna be are we looking for the name of the beer or the company?
I'll take either.
I'm gonna go with Budweiser because they always lean on history stuff.
Anheuser-Busch, yeah.
Incorrect. They were the one of the illegal ones, but they were not the legal one. The answer to that is West End Brewing Company's Utica Club Pilsner.
Yeah. Never guessed
Whoa.
Never
That's
would
why I
have
was
never
told.
guessed that one.
The brewery stayed alive by producing malt tonics, near beer, and soft drinks during Prohibition. West End Brewing obtained the first legal license to make and sell beer after Prohibition. In fact, there was a big parade from the brewery all the way to the famous Hotel Utica that served the first legal pints of beer. West End Brewing Company changed owners and names, and now it's FX Matt Brewing Company, still operating today.
Dang.
Blake is the winner with a score of 4-2. Congratulations, Blake.
Ooh.
I have one more question here from the ultimate tiebreaker round in case we needed it. Do you guys want to take a swing
Sure, for just general knowledge trivia.
for just S&Gs? All right.
Hey.
What?
Hit it up.
Okay. True or false? Prohibition made it illegal to manufacture, sell, transport, and consume alcohol.
False.
I think it's false. I don't think it's all those things. I think it's the selling of it, right?
Mhm.
It's false. That's what I'm going with.
So you are both correct. It is false, but you have picked the wrong thing. The
I didn't pick
18th,
anything.
the 18th Amendment prohibited the manufacture, transport, and sale of alcoholic beverages, not the consumption. So you could consume all the alcohol you wanted to, but you would have obtained it illegally.
Isn't that some sorry.
Well, that's what I was saying is that it wasn't illegal to buy it.
Right.
Illegal to have it or drink it.
No,
It was legal
it's illegal to buy.
Yeah.
Well done, gentlemen. That was a good time.
That's pretty good.
Good time.
All because I figured, National Beer Day has some fun ties to the whole prohibition. So let's see what we actually know about prohibition.
Absolutely. And give yourself a round of applause before you blow that whistle.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, gentlemen, we're back.
Well, we'll move a little quick here. The She Believes Cup. USA. Anyways, moving along. Go all the way back to Saturday real quick. In front of the largest crowd ever to watch a home-friendly match, and the largest ever since the U.S. women back at the Rose Bowl. The Atlanta crowd of 50,644 helped to propel the U.S. women to victory as they had to come from behind 1-0 after a minute. Yes, only a minute to Japan. The U.S. then had to dig in, and after 20 minutes, had a lovely, lovely goal from just the youngster of the San Diego Wave that's having herself just a wonderful start to 2024. Jaden Shaw has a well-placed strike from outside the box, and the U.S. went in tied 1-1 at half. Excuse me. Then, the second half, courtesy of a captain, Lindsey Horan penalty conversion in the 77th minute that proved to be just enough as our ladies edged past the Japanese to advance to the finals of the She Believes Cup. More on that in a second. Later that afternoon, though, yet another 77th minute goal, this time by Vanessa Giles of Canada, was enough to draw even with Brazil, so that ended 1-1. And there is no extra time played in the She Believes Cups to go straight to pens. So in pens, Canada prevailed 4-2 in a penalty shootout. But you know what Canada didn't do?
What?
They didn't prevail against the U.S. in the She Believes Cup final today in a penalty shootout, as Alyssa Nair, 3 stops once again. On Tuesday, the 9th, as we are recording this, the U.S. win their unprecedented 5th She Believes Cup over Canada in what was a fun match. 2-2 draw, a brace from Sophia Smith, a brace from Adria Eon, and Alyssa Nair comes up huge once again. They went probably, what, 8 rounds? 9 rounds maybe?
Yeah.
And Alyssa Nair made 3 saves, and I believe the U.S. converted 6 of their penalties, and the U.S. win the She Believes Cup once again.
8th overall win, 5th in a row. It's awesome. It's good for this team.
Yes.
Who, coming out of the World Cup, lacked a lot of confidence, was kind of lacking identity, and it was incredible for Sophia Smith to get a brace tonight, found the back of the net with her penalty. Now she's going to have a bunch more confidence going into the Olympics, assuming she makes the Olympic squad.
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
I'm excited to see this team move on, and more importantly, I am excited to see what Emma Hayes can do with these team coming in this new batch of
Exactly
conference.
it. It's exciting to see what Emma Hayes can do and if she can kind of take this team to the next level. Yes, not the best World Cup. They've come out of that, have bounced back well. Twyla Kilgore has done a really good job as an interim head coach. I believe she's only lost 2. She's won 10, probably 11 now, somewhere in that range. She's done a really, really good job, set the side up well. You now have players that might be playing in the Olympics and going forward as solid starters. A Sam Coffey, probably a nailed-on number 6 for this squad. I love her to death. A tucked-in kit. I'm just absolutely, I'm in. I don't care. Just a good tucked-in kit, but a great dead piece, set piece player. She'll take a lot of our corners, a lot of our free kicks, whipping that ball in the box. Her delivery on those is so good. If you get Haran on the end of that, love it.
But only when she's mad. Only when Haran's mad.
Yes, right? But then you're going to have Haran probably playing that number 10-ish role. You know, you're going to have Alex up there, but you have Jaden Shaw on one side of Trinity Rodman on the other. You can go Sophia Smith. You can go Mal Swanson now. So a lot of attacking options. How and who everybody's going to stay there, don't quite know. But you have a really good core that's starting here. Gurma, who I don't believe played the day due to he picked up a knock in that game in Atlanta against the Japanese, but probably nailed on as our number one center back at this time. Nair, of course, in goal. Well, what a year she's had so far, and honestly, what a World Cup. You can't blame any of that World Cup on her. She's as solid as can be in net. Got the pleasure of seeing her once again here a few weeks back when she was here with the Red Stars.
And she crushes penalties.
She's just class. Yeah, she just crushes penalties. And part of it is she does have that long frame, right? But how quick she moves off of the line and how she anticipates and probably studies the hell out of how they do. And yes, all goalies do this. It's not making her necessarily anything special, but she's producing the saves to get there. And there are very few penalty shootouts that she's lost. And I think since then, she's probably taken it personal because the one that she did lose was against Sweden in the World Cup to knock them out. So since then, she's probably taken that personal and really worked on defending those because now they beat Canada twice in a penalty shootout, once in the Gold Cup, and then obviously here to win their 5th She Believes Cup.
Love it.
All right.
Recording the pod too was having you guys recite what was happening on the penalty kicks.
Yeah, because we were when I wrote this content, I thought the game was on Wednesday night, not tonight. So I originally had to write it. I wasn't sure if the match would end by the time we recorded, but as we were just getting ready to record, the game started at 7 p.m. here on the East Coast, and as we were recording, we usually try to record between 8:30 and 9. We're a little bit later there, but about 9 o'clock is when the penalty shootout happened, and Blake was going down the rabbit hole of his, brewery that he said earlier in the pod, and we were watching and kind of we're all on mic and all have each other in our headphones, and we were just giving a play-by-play of a save here, shot here, that's a poor pen, and there was a few of them in this, but
while my poor Canadian wife watched on.
Yes. I wasn't going to say that.
I don't mind. USA.
All right. Moving across the pond, though. Let's end the pod with going over some of the big European leagues, as well as giving an update on how the quarterfinals of the Champions League is going, as it just started off today. The Champions! All right, first we'll start in Germany. The Bundesliga. Bayern Leverkusen. 16 points ahead of Bayern Munich.
One game. They need one more game.
Yep, and still have not lost the entire season. Unbelievable. And this was only helped out because Bayern, 3-2 defeat away to, let me check this. They're mid-table, 10th, like solid mid-table. To FC Heidenheim. I'll give you $5 if you can point to them on a map right now of Germany. Good luck.
I'm not.
Yeah, right. They lost 3-2 to them, and this wasn't like a last-minute goal by Heidenheim. No. This was a 50th minute, a 51st minute, and a 79th. That's 3 unanswered goals after Kane and Gnabry scored in the first half. So a second half complete change and 3 unanswered goals. So that just really opened it up. And if Bayer Leverkusen don't win the title, that'd be something you just don't see that happening, right? They're tearing apart. It also didn't help that the week before that, Borussia Dortmund finally beat Bayern Munich 2-0. So that also didn't help. So 2 weeks in a row, Bayern lost, and Leverkusen has won. Yes, again, some late goals. Leverkusen's putting all these really, really late goals. But where's that at?
That is
to the east of Stuttgart. Is that what I'm seeing?
To the east of Stuttgart and south of Nuremberg.
Well, there you go. Speaking of Stuttgart beat Borussia Dortmund 1-0 on the weekend. And listen, as a Dortmund fan, just I get it. You're playing Bayern, you're playing Stuttgart, but you got to do something a little bit better. That bumps Dortmund down to 5th, and RB Leipzig are currently in 4th, with Eintracht Frankfurt in 6th. So the European spots there will be 1 through 4 for the Champions League. 5th, Borussia Dortmund, Eintracht Frankfurt in 6th. So, still some games to be played. You have a better, closer battle for 4th, as RB Leipzig's on 53 points, Dortmund's on 53 points. Bayern and Stuttgart both on 60. Whether they end up 2 or 3, they're both going to make Champions League more than likely. But nobody's going to be able to catch up with Bayern Leverkusen. In a similar fashion, over in La Liga, Real Madrid. You might have heard of them.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. They have opened themselves up to a 8-point lead over Barcelona. Girona's kind of fallen to the side here as just the long season and probably lack of depth and that sort of thing. Just can't compete with these two massive clubs. But they're on, again, at 75 points and Barcelona on 67 points. You really see Real Madrid probably seeing out this and winning yet another title with that. You know, they drew today to Man City, which you get to hear in a bit, but they've rattled off a few wins. 2-0 over Athletic Club, 4-2 over Osasuna, and 4-0 over Celta Vigo. So 3 wins in a row is going to really open that up for them in the table, especially when you're looking at a Barcelona who has a similar type line, but as soon as you get that little bit of headway on them, now you win, they win, you win, they win. You're not gaining any sort of ground. So the top 4, Champions League, 5th goes to Europa, 6th go to Conference League. In La Liga, it shapes up as this: Real Madrid 1st, Barcelona 2nd, Girona 3rd, Atletico Madrid 4th, Athletic Club 5th, and Real Sociedad 6th. Will Atletico Madrid catch up with Girona? Quite possibly. They're 7 points behind. Athletic Club's only 2 points behind Atletico Madrid, so that fight for 4th is certainly in place. And then a little bit behind them, about 7 points behind, is Real Sociedad. So Real Sociedad probably going to stay in that 6th. Athletic Club probably going to stay in that 5th. Look for that race 3rd and 4th. I doubt we're going to get much of a title race between Real Madrid and Barcelona. They do have El Clasico coming up, though, I believe sometime this month. So that could prove a pivotal game in the fight for La Liga. And last but not least, Serie A and Inter have kind of started to run away with that as well. Big win just the other day on Monday, I believe. A late goal in that one gave them a 2-1 win. But they've won out of their past 5. They've won 4 and drawn 1. AC Milan, so their Milan derby team there, has won the last 5 in a row in the league. But Inter's always had that lead, so it's just tough to gain any ground, especially when Inter is scoring some of these late goals. Christian Pulisic, on the other hand, is turning into just this cult hero at AC Milan.
I love it.
He is having just a tremendous season for them. You talk goals for them right now. He is second behind the ever so gorgeous Olivier Giroud, who will be going to LA. Of course.
Is that done?
It's LAFC. I'm pretty sure it is. But Giroud has 13 goals, and he plays striker. Christian Pulisic does not play striker.
Yeah.
He has 10 goals. 10 goals in Serie A. Add another 6 assists to that. He's the second. That's more than Leao. That's more than Theo Hernandez. That's more than Okafor. He is producing, and absolutely the AC Milan fans are loving him. And in the same boat, Weston McKennie for Juve's having himself a great year. The American lads over there are it's turning into what the Bundesliga was a few years back, where a lot of Americans are going over there and playing. It's Italy now. Like, we kind of want our players to go to Italy because they're going to get the time. They're going to get the experience. They're going to get high talent, and they're taking the best of it. And you're seeing what a Pulisic and McKennie, what these players can do behind consistent run of games, behind their teams having confidence and to continually play them and stick with them. And they're producing. They're doing very, very well. So the table for the Serie A is Inter first, 14-point lead there. Yeah, I doubt that's going to be caught by second place AC Milan, Juve in third, Bologna in fourth. Those are your Champions League places as of right now. The battle for third, fourth, and fifth, kind of there. De Rossi, coming in for Jose Mourinho in Roma, has done a very, very good job. 3 wins, 2 draws in the last 5, and has produced very, very well. 3 points behind Bologna in fourth. So you probably like Roma to nick that fourth place at least. I don't know if Juve is going to drop down to that, but I could certainly see Roma getting there and getting fourth. Atalanta in 6th in that Europa Conference League place. They still are in the Europa League, and if you remember earlier in the pod, they're playing Liverpool on Thursday. So for some reason, Atalanta win that, then they'll be in the Champions League. But they haven't been on a good run of form at all in the league.
I don't think 6th is the spot for them.
For who?
For Serie A.
No, it's not. It's a Europa Conference League spot, but they're still in the Europa League this season against Liverpool. If they win the Europa League, then they would advance to the Champions League. Does that make sense?
6th is not a spot for anything in Europe for Serie A, according to Google.
I'm showing it right now as a Europa Conference Champions League qualification.
Interesting.
So we might have to look that up. Coefficients, as we've seen for the Premier League, have changed a bit, where I don't believe, looking earlier, that they have a Europa Conference League spot. So, going back to Premier League. But as of right now, that's what I'm seeing on FOTMob that they're showing.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. And that is your European leagues.
It's qualification, right? So that means that you got to
you might have to qualify to get into that tournament. Sure,
it's not a guarantee. Yeah,
right,
you got to qualify to get into the tournament at 6.
Right. So speaking of Europe and those 3 teams, a lot of these teams are still in the mix. Some of them still in the champions. Your semifinals have begun today, and there are some doozies here. Today alone, you had Real Madrid 3, Man City 3, Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 2. Some powerhouses going head for head, and first leg just draws. And this is something that I was talking to with friend of the pod, Phil. I had a $5 bet on a 2-leg parlay that both these games would draw. And I had about 80 minutes to go. They had just drawn up, and I got a cash out of $20. I decided to stick with it because my rationale behind it was you have these 2 teams going up against very good competition, whether you're Arsenal going up against Bayern going up against Arsenal, Real Madrid going up against City going up against... It's the first leg. There's no away goals anymore.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter if you win or lose the game so much going into that second leg. Yes, you can talk, okay, you have to go away from home or you're going to be at home in that second leg, but the away goals don't matter. So are you really going for the win here, or are you just going try to not to lose? And that's the feeling that I got, and it kind of played out that way today. Some very good goals in all the games.
So what'd you win?
$5 turned into $60 on a 2-leg parlay. Yeah, so I'll take that. What's the saying? A squirrel can find a nut every now and again.
You pay for your Starbucks for a couple days.
Exactly. Just probably only for like a morning and an afternoon, but that's all right. But yeah, some very good games, some fun goals today. If you get a chance and hear this and have not seen any of those goals from today, go back and watch those. Now, tomorrow, Wednesday the 10th, you have Atletico Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. I believe Borussia Dortmund's on the road to start, so you probably favor Atletico in that, especially just how Simeone sets up his sides in the Champions League. He's just kind of a master when it comes to just setting up the sides to be just defensively aware and getting a goal here or two to advance. Again, this is only the first leg, though. And then you also have, which about a year or two ago might have been really tasty for this, but now you have PSG and Barcelona. 2 powerhouse clubs, some good talent there. Not quite sure what you're going to get. You can see a game like you saw today against Real Madrid and Man City. 3-3. You could also see a 0-0. You might see a 1-0. I just don't know what to necessarily predict with that game. It's going to be interesting. Both, Paris Saint-Germain is surprise, top of the league over in Blake. Did you hear this? Were you on the pod for this one?
I don't think so.
On what the new or one of you two weren't on the pod.
It was Blake.
Blake was not on the pod?
Nope.
So it's not going to be Uber Eats anymore?
It's not. It's the Get Your Royale and Cheese McDonald's League.
Royale with cheese.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
McDonald's. It's so great.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, we said that on a few pods ago. But anyways, yeah, they of course lead
that
the
makes
league.
It more of a joke, right? I mean, Uber Eats is better, but the McDonald's Oh man,
I believe it's going to take place here. It's like taking place now. Like the deal was, I don't remember what the exact stat I read.
McD-PSG.
Yes, McD-PSG number 2 combo. Upsize it, baby.
That's why Mbappe's out. He's like, I am out before this happens.
Before my cholesterol goes through the roof.
But yeah, so look for those games. All first leg. You have all second leg games happening next week. Then we go to the semifinals of the champions. And that has been your La Liga's roundup.
Yeah, I almost did it with my mouth. So I forgot that you had the board ready to roll. All right, well that wraps us up. Our beers, the pod, were I had from Austria, one of the only Trappist beers you can get, or maybe it's still there. We think it's still there. From Stift Ingelsalz, their Gregorius Trappist beer. I'll put a picture of it up on the website so you'll know what we had.
We had a Vienna lager.
Oh yeah, sorry. I kind of just dozed off there for a second. I was just listening to Blake.
From
Boegans. The Priest and the Matador from a great Census Fail song. If you ever get a chance or you're ever in this area, make the trip out to Castleberry, go to the Very Chill Brewery. Some great songs that for me just take me back to college. Love it.
If you enjoy the pod, please give us a review on your favorite podcatcher, Apple Podcasts, what have you. Let us know. Tell your friends and family about it, especially grandma. We're still trying to get those grandma numbers up. And Ferris, does that give you a Zlatan quote?
Tell me when to stop.
Stop. I can't see you because the camera's not.
All right, we're on a picture right now, so let's go again.
Yeah. Stop.
All right, here we go. Thank you for the pens. I can sign it off. Oh, I have a James Bond quote here from Zlatan.
Amazing.
And you know that I just booked a trip to Washington, D.C. to hopefully watch the Pride play against Washington, D.C. Do you know what's in D.C., Blake?
Spy Museum, my
National
friend.
Spy Museum, and they have a Bond exhibit going on. So how like it. All right.
I hate that for work, I cannot go. I would just walk in front of you with the camera and watching your face the whole time.
And this, just this alone, I'm getting very happy thoughts of. Zlatan would like to be the next 007. I don't know when he said this, but he's quoted as saying, "The only thing he did that I haven't done yet is acting. I'm a little bit curious also to be an actor. Something like Bourne Identity. Something like that. A secret agent. The new James Bond. Why not?"
Now, he'd be a Bond villain. He'd be an amazing
He would
Bond.
be a great Bond villain, but you know what? He looks great in his suit. So
you guys saw his Instagram post of him in some B movie, doing his own stunts, right? Like it was pretty hilarious.
He's got a cartoon that he's on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. You keep telling us about this.
It's not great. We tried watching it. It was rough.
Oh yeah, no, that was like last year or the year before last, right? Where
he plays himself. My daughter even was like, we couldn't. It was not good.
Hilarious.
Not good. Worth it for some of his stuff in the beginning, and that's it. We did the yesterday was the eclipse. And I had something I was trying to pull up for that, but instead I found a crazy news article from, I guess this is the Patch. I don't know. I guess it's like a local paper here for where I'm at in Connecticut. But it says local man hurts eyes or damages eyes during eclipse. It says, quote, "I forgot my eclipse glasses at home," Tom said, blinded by his mistake. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the Brutal Game.
Nice.
Here's a 11 old eclipse joke.
Well done.
Hey, got to slide one in there. We're so close to a full eclipse where we were here. Just a little bitty toenail.
We were what, 60-some% here?
Yeah,
or something?
just about 60.
There was. I tell you the weirdest thing, real quick. People got out these boxes with tinfoil and then the white sheet or whatever it was. You're just seeing a shadow at that point. Bunch of nonsense.
But we'll check the text thread right now.
You said
this because that was definitely that we did and made the box.
She's going, "Dad, what did you make me do with this LaCroix box?"
It worked. You could see it like pass in front of it. Yeah, it's better than burning your eyes out if you don't have this.
No, 100%. But yeah, you have the glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, we did get the glasses though. Made for a good day. We had earthquakes here, then an eclipse.
The world. What's the word?
I thought the Ghostbusters were going to come
The
rolling down the
rapture.
street. Yeah.
Next thing you're gonna have a swarm of bees or whatever it is in the.
The cicadas are about to have
there
their
you go.
Yeah.
dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
It'll be anarchy. But
I like that new Ghostbusters movie, by the way.
It was fun, right?
I haven't seen it yet.
It was fun.
It was fun.
All right, gents, a pleasure as always. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The beautiful game.